to our video bulletin for Friday the 5th of February. Throughout Christmas time, Candlemas, there are many churches such as ours which like to parade a smug superiority by keeping their cribs up for the world to see that we know when Christmas tide ends. And so for the last few weeks we've had our crib standing just where I'm standing now, and it has been a tremendous tragedy that there haven't been enough people to see just how much of a proper church we are. And so when everyone does return, you'll see this empty space filled only with a hand sanitizer unit. But I can assure you that for the last few weeks we have been a proper church, and for those who have been able to visit, they've been able to gaze at our crib as well. So Christmas tide has finished and we've cleared away the last of the crib, and whilst you're probably still finding your Christmas tree needle in your own homes, here we're beginning to think ahead to Lent. As we come to Lent, as you all know, we have a great tradition of a Lent programme, which in recent years has meant high-profile speakers or significant performances of music. We've decided on the whole that those won't take place this year. We've all spent so much time joining in online events or gazing at our screens, so whilst I hope you're still able to join us for worship, it's more important that we focus on being together. Now, we began that last Sunday with a social evening which worked extremely well, and we're going to do this fortnightly, so please do join in the next one, which will be on Sunday the 14th of February. More information will come out about that. Lots of people joined and we broke into smaller groups as well. We're also looking forward in Lent to how we might join in smaller groups online and do a more traditional Lent study that is done in other parishes, whereas we've done big events. Well, those big events will happen in 2022. As one of our Lent speakers this year said to me, it's all so depressing, isn't it? But as I said to him, the publicity picture he gave me last year hasn't got any older, so his youth will be preserved. So let's keep thinking, and I'll tell you more about our Ash Wednesday service, which will be online with the Bishop in next week's Bulletin. An important part of every bulletin is our Meet the Congregation, and Ian got a little bit carried away this week, so we've had to do a bit of gentle, light editing to bring it down to a watchable amount, but he's been talking to Pat.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Meet the Congregation video for this week. I'm here with an extra special member of the congregation, Pat. Pat, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much indeed. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, it's lovely to talk to you too. So one of the things I like to ask people in these Meet the Congregation videos is I ask them how they got connected to St. Nick's. And I know you've been talking a lot about, in our conversation previously, you've been talking a lot about how important community is to you. How did you start to come to St. Nick's?
I wasn't a particular churchgoer when I first arrived here. I'm a typical sort of Christmas Eve midnight mass person and maybe Easter thing. But I started to go because we live locally, so we're in the city centre where we live, and I popped down to the church, and I like the church a lot. I like the sort of wooden structure of it and everything. And I started to go there. There was no rector there at the time. I think it was an interim. And I met Roger Merchant, who has since become a great friend, and he was the verger there. So I'd start to connect with him and start to go to the church a little bit more. And then Crispin arrived with his family as the rector, and things seemed to lots of things started to happen. For me, it's really a community, a family, because when I arrived in Liverpool, I didn't know anybody here. So it was quite a sort of, obviously I had to go out. I mean, I'm quite an outgoing person and things like that, and I'm happy to do things. But I met some lovely people in the church that go to the church. Not local. They drive quite a long way. And all the people I've met there, it's been just wonderful. And I've built up some wonderful friendships. And that's the sort of sense of community I have here. And I've become really a regular churchgoer. So I'm now a sides person and things like that. So it's been a very strong draw for me, I must admit. And because I know other people here. So it's really been nice. And there's always a lot going on.
Yeah.
Not at the minute.
Well,
Not
not,
a minute. I walked past on Sunday, and it was all dark and everything, so it was a very strange experience, I must admit.
Yeah. Well, you can always rely on Roger for for some joy and a laugh and good company.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, he's a great friend now. He's a great friend. Because he used to live in the same block with us, but has now moved. So, but he's only a 15-minute walk away. So,
Yeah.
so that's nice.
Very nice, very nice. And how you been holding up with all the pandemic stuff and everything?
Well, not really doing very much. You've got to learn to be, I think, quite patient with this sort of thing. I mean, luckily, I have my husband, so there's the two of us. And I go for a walk most days, but then you find you're sort of crossing the road to avoid people. And so having sort of loved being with people and meeting people, suddenly you're sort of almost scared of them. It's a terrible sort of feeling. And, but yes, you've just got to be, I think, patient. I think you've got to just, I mean, I'm in my sort of, as I call my twilight years. So I've got a lot I can reflect on and a lot of memories I could just enjoy and things like that.
Oh, that's lovely.
And I feel sorry for the people who are sort of living on their own, because they might be working from home and then being on their own all the time. So that's really tough. They might have lost their job. So all those sort of people, I feel quite sorry for them. People who've got family or people in hospital, for instance, they can't go to the hospital. So there's a tremendous loneliness there. So I really feel for those sort of people. So I think this sort of the idea of certainly the Sunday service is nice to have the people sort of, or those who not the community there. But my feeling is you've just got to be positive. And optimistic that we will get somewhere.
Well, we will get somewhere. Well, one thing, I really appreciate you for bringing this up. One thing to anyone out there who's watching, and if you are feeling lonely or you just want somebody to talk to, you can always reach out to a member of the clergy at St. Nick's. Happy to give you a call or have a parishioner give you a call. You know, that's something that we love to do and we know is really, really important at this time. So.
I think that's very good, and I'm sure a lot of people who could benefit from that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's probably all the time we have. To anyone out there who, once you are back, do come up to Pat and ask her for a little bit of information. I want the tour now that you've said.
I have to. Well, it's fascinating what's there in the church.
Well, I encourage anyone watching to approach Pat and ask for the tour, whether or not she'll give it to you.
Some have in the past. Luckily, there is a group of us that do the tours.
Right. You can do a hive mind or something. Very good. Well, it's been lovely, really lovely to talk to you, Pat.
Okay, pleasure to talk to you.
All right.
Okay, bye.
And I'll see you all next week.
So for the next 2 Sundays before Lent starts, we will be in ordinary time, back to wearing green, and then we've also refreshed our prayer list. So when you download the order of service, I remind everyone to download the order of service available on the website. Just click on the home page where it says Worship Online, and you'll find the usual prayer list at the back. It might be that a name that you particularly wanted to be on that list has dropped off, so please do get in touch with the church office so that we can make sure that those who are current in our lives and on our hearts are in the prayer life of our parish. But other than that, please do join us on YouTube for our parish Eucharist on Sunday morning, which will be available from 10 o'clock. And whatever you're doing this weekend, I hope you have a very restful and peaceful weekend.